to 1,000 Ways to Heal. I would like to invite you onto the land with me this week, where I continue to share my personal journey of healing, inspired by my diverse heritage, aiming to encourage and support your healing journey to wellness and unity. Throughout Canada's history, Indigenous peoples have helped shape this land into the country we know today. Before Canada became a country, Britain's military alliances with First Nations were a key part of the defensive network of British North America. During the War of 1812, First Nations warriors and Métis fighters played important roles in the British defense against invading American forces. Thousands of First Nations warriors and Métis fighters fought beside British troops and Canadian settler militias during the war. These Indigenous allies were often accompanied by officials from the Indian Department who spoke Indigenous languages and who could help First Nations war chiefs and British military commanders communicate with each other. First Nations and Métis communities sided with the British during the war because they shared a common goal: to resist American expansion. You see, for 300 years the British had a symbiotic relationship with First Nations and the land. These were often known as the Good Whites. The military and fur traders lived in a similar lifestyle to the First Nations. Up to 1812, the British had built a relationship with First Nations worth protecting. More than 10,000 First Nations warriors from the Great Lakes region and the St. Lawrence Valley participated in nearly every battle. In Canada, the war was fought on three main fronts: in the Western Great Lakes, the Niagara, and the St. Lawrence regions. In each region, First Nations warriors helped repel the invading American forces. According to several British commanders, these important battles were won in large part because of the participation of their Indigenous allies. It wasn't until years later when European settlers and refugees from the South, often known as the Bad Whites, started to outnumber the military and fur traders. This is when we see a shift away from the symbiotic relationship with First Nations. This would forever change the lives of Indigenous people across this country. Next time you're thinking about Canada, keep in mind that First Nations together held this ground with the British to keep our collective country from becoming a part of the United States. Remember, we heal when we walk together. I'm Ryan Deneault.